Just back from stocking his workshop with Zima and Smirnoff Ice, because nothing but the best for his crew. It's the Gorilla Killer, Denny Den Stanley. What's up, man?
Oh, what's going on, Chris? Yeah, you're right. There is some Zima out there. There is some Smirnoff Ice. But you forgot about the, what are the little girls in the club sticking those things? The Jolly Ranchers?
Jolly Ranchers.
I do provide the Jolly Ranchers as well. I mean, not cherry ones. I give them grape, but, only the best for my minions.
Is that like a slang term for ecstasy or something? The Jolly Rancher? Is that what that is? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. All right, Denny.
What's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
Wow. He was just giving me a video tour of the prop shop, and it was little unimpressive, but it was actually it was very cool to get a glimpse of what goes on there. And you're in your dragon. Denny was chasing the dragon all afternoon. Yeah,
not just today. I've been chasing that fucking dragon for 8 months now, man. Yeah, we moved from a 2,500 square foot facility to a 5,200 square foot facility. So we needed the room because of the goddamn dragon. It's cool though, isn't it? Look nice.
And then the dragon will be leaving you in about a week. So then you.
So yeah, now I got to figure out a way to fill that extra space.
Create a new dragon, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they are talking. There is telltale signs in the wind. They want a second dragon.
So.
Which I don't know. Sounds fun.
Is that much of a pain in the ass? So
it was a pain in the ass.
How did you build the dragon? Just give us the rough. Simple overview of the dragon.
The simple overview is we did a 40-foot foam sculpt. We used 1.5 tons of clay. We put the clay over the foam. We sculpted it down. Then I acquired a brand new, shiny, really kick-ass, actually, silicone spraying machine. So it looks, think Ghostbusters backpack. And you put the A in one tube, B in the other tube, hook it up to your compressor, and it just sprays silicone all over whatever you want to mold. It sounds cool until you think about how much 5 gallons of silicone cost. And I'm going through about, at least 2 5-gallon kits a day when I'm in full mode.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, no doubt. You're about $1,500 in silicone a day coming out of the end of that damn machine. Then after we had it all molded up, we did a fiberglass mother mold on it to keep everything held together. And then we went in and fiberglassed the inside of the silicone, popped the mold off, cleaned up all the burrs, filled in where we needed to fill in, and the rest is paint.
Okay.
But it was about 6 or 7 months, almost 8 months actually, of Dragon. He came out super cool. For anybody who wants to see him, he will be on display at the Smooth On headquarters in Pennsylvania.
All right. So, just take a spin by, stop in next time you're cruising through Pennsylvania, and say hi to Mr. Dragon.
To the big 40-foot long dragon.
To Drogon.
Wow.
How appropriate as we're doing this whole Game of Thrones themed episode.
Yeah,
big. Hey, nice.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is we're here to save haunters money.
Oh, I thought we were done already. No?
Now, here's the deal. Yeah, I've been I'm probably the only one listening to the old episodes. And I realized at some point I was losing touch with my roots, and I easily threw out numbers like $200, $400, $600, $800 to build anything. And I'm thinking, that's not working. Well, shit, it's not working for me at this point either, but it's not working for anybody else. So what can we do to help people to save money? And I came up with something. I was looking through my shop, and there's something I've been doing a lot in my shop recently. It's a better way to cast. And what it's called is Roto-Casting. Now, big companies use this technique all the time, but they have these big fancy machines, and they spin like a gyro one direction, other direction, and they're really super expensive and big. But I've learned that I can do the same thing with a silicone mold and just pouring resin inside and rotating it with my hands so the resin sets up. The cool thing about this is you get an ultra lightweight part out. It's not heavy. Like, say for instance you were doing a zombie head. and you needed, you sculpted out a zombie head, or you bought one from a store you really liked and you wanted a couple more kind of like it, you could mold that. But if you filled that thing full with plaster or resin or whatever your casting material is, the thing is going to weigh 9 pounds or 10 pounds, like a gallon of material. Gallon of liquid's heavy. Where I can take, with a Roto-cast technique, maybe 1 cup, pour it into the neck hole, and just roto that thing around until the resin solidifies. And now I've got a shell that I can pop out. It's paintable. You can put it on a fishing line with a small reindeer motor, and it's going to lift it up. There's so many things you can do with it. If you do need it to be a little more stout, you can backfill that with, some kind of spray foam or...
Well, I love me some stout.
Yeah, who doesn't like stout?
Okay, I need you to now try to explain this in a little bit more detail.
All right.
Because you lost me a little. I've got the gist of what you're talking about, but how does the process work?
So let's start from the beginning. Let's say, for instance, let's go back to our zombie head mold example. So let's assume that Chris Baker had some sculpting talent, and he sculpted a clay zombie head.
That's a good assumption.
It's a leap, I understand. And he sculpted a really cool zombie head, right? And you're like, man, this is awesome, but it's clay, so what the hell am I going to do with it? I'm going to have to mold it if I'm going to make a part, if I'm going to make a usable thing. So you could take silicone, and you could brush silicone over the entire thing, put a plaster bandage mother mold over that, which is a 2-part shell that clamshells around your zombie head, and it holds the mold in its shape after you take it off of your clay. Mm-hmm. So you take the mother mold off, you slice the silicone, you put your fingers in there and pull that silicone shell off the clay. You pop it into your mother mold, seal that up. Now you've got basically a plaster bandage shell with a perfect replication of your sculpted head inside. Now your choices from that point on to cast that and make it a usable part, before in every other show we've done, is just to fill it up with something. Maybe you fill it with foam. You make mixable foam and pour it in there. Maybe you use plaster.
Yeah.
But those are a little bit expensive. You're using a lot of product. What I'm talking about now is taking that exact same thing, buying a specialized, fairly inexpensive resin, which is plastic, mixing up a cup of that and just pour it in. And when I say roto-casting it, you're just constantly keeping it moving, and you're swishing it up to the neck and around the head. And you're just constantly rotoing it in your hands. And when that finally starts to cure up, you've created a perfect plastic shell inside of your mold. Then you can pull off your mother mold, pull off your silicone, and you have a hollow, thin plastic head. You remember those blow molded skeletons we all started off buying?
Yeah, the Bluckies.
The Bluckies, right. It's kind of like a Blucky head. It's hollow. It's like a blow molded something, but you didn't have to buy the blow molded machine. And that's all we're talking about. It works with hands, it works with arms, heads, hell, anything you want to mold and cast.
So you're pouring about a cup in, and like if it was a head-sized object, pouring a cup in, and you just keep rotating it over and over and over, make sure it covers the entire inside of that mold, and then eventually, how thick will it harden? Is it a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch?
Well, the first, and you may want to do it in multi-batches. It depends on how strong you need it to be. If you put just 1 cup in there and you swish it around, there's special casting resins that have a slow snap. A snap is when resin freezes. There's some stuff that I use that I literally mix the two together. I stir it for a couple of seconds, and 30 seconds later, it flashes, it goes poof, and it's white, and it's done. It's cooked. This is more of a slow cooking resin. When I say slow, we're talking 2.5 to 3 minutes. So you pour it in there, you roto it around. When that comes out, it's going to be pretty strong. Could you take it and crush it? You probably could. Same way as a Blucky. But you could take and put another cup in there and do that again. And then if you wanted another cup, do it again. If you wanted to, like I said, you could backfill that with foam. Like if you wanted to do some sort of a 3-axis talking skull, this would be a great application for that, because if you filled it with foam, now you can cut the skull, cut the foam out. It'd be easy to sculpt out the places for your actuators or anything you're going to put in there. You could easily run lights for eyes if you're into that kind of thing or whatever. So it's a cost-effective, lightweight way to do a cast, and we're trying to get back to cost-effective.
I see what you're saying, man. I see where you're trying to save me money. Even though I'm just swimming all of this Hauntcast F you money.
I said to use a silicone for your molding material because nothing sticks to silicone but silicone.
Yeah.
But in theory, you could probably use plaster if you put like a Canuba wax or something inside of there and you didn't have any undercuts. So depending on what you were molding, you probably get away with plaster, you get away with wax, you get away with anything.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you're trying to get out of there. Generally, the rule is a soft mold for a hard cast, a soft cast for a hard mold.
So what was the last project that you tried this Roto-Casting on? Like, what did you make?
Well, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but I will. I actually signed contracts to get me in a lot of trouble. So there's a major drug manufacturer. Let's just say it rhymes with Lizer. And they needed examples of cancer cells and the cure that they may or may not have come up with for the certain kind of cancer. These things needed to be 40 inches in diameter in spheres. So if I made that out of solid plastic, first it would cost you could buy a Benz for what I'd have to spend in plastic, but it would weigh, 800 pounds a piece. So I needed to figure out a way to make these things lightweight. But one of the features of these cells is they wanted to light them up from the inside. They wanted them to be blue and purple and gray, and they wanted to light them from the inside, so they needed to have a translucency. So we came up with this way. We built a mold the same way I just talked about, left the back open, and I created a rail system where basically imagine I did them in half spheres. Imagine a half sphere. I dumped about 3 gallons of mixed resin into it. I turned it on its edge, and I just rolled it in this rail back 12 feet, the other direction 12 feet, back 12 feet, until it fired, and it made a perfect, what looked to be like a blow-molded or maybe, if anybody's ever used a vacuum table, plastic shell. And I took that, put 2 halves together, and we got this really neat casted piece. Put a light inside of it. It glowed. It was awesome. Lightweight. They loved it. Paid a ridiculous amount of money for it.
Oh, Kaiser must be extremely excited.
Yes.
I mean, Wiser, whatever. Yes, Wiser.
Lizer, Kaiser, Wiser, Pizer, whatever.
Excellent. No, that's a great thing. So that's it? That's your. I mean, that's enough, I think, for most people.
Well, if anybody wants
I'm greedy.
If they want to look at this at a deeper level and actually would consider doing it, I've got some resins I can recommend. Any resin will work, but like I said, you don't want one that's going to flash super fast, because what will happen is you'll be halfway through your Roto-cast and all of a sudden it'll flash and you'll have one big, fat, thick side and the other side's barely got any at all. You want something that gradually cures as you're turning it. They make a special, Smooth On makes a specialized resin that I use for this. It's Smoothcast 65D, and it's about a 2.5 minute pot life, which means you got 2.5 minutes to get it in and get it spinning, and it cures and you can pull it out in 15 minutes. You can get a gallon kit of this, so you're going to get 2 gallons. It's a 1-to-1 mix for about $100, layman price.
Yeah.
And but you would be able to get 20 heads out of that. You know what I mean? So cost effective wise, you could do an entire zombie for $25 with the resin.
I got it. So here, when we're saying don't be cheap, or you get what you pay for, we're undercutting it. We're coming in low. I know that there are people who will still go $100, Jesus Christ, but you know what? Based on the fact that you're dropping around thousands of dollars in the last couple of episodes, on product, right? This seems very reasonable for only $100. Dude, I'm advocating the same thing. I'm like, oh, well, you just got to spend it, Though when you buy certain products from Smooth On, like I say, you're getting very quality product. Look at, I'm just more plugs. Plug.
I got to get these guys. You know what? These guys don't even listen to the show. I really should call them and say, listen to the show.
Yeah, well, maybe that's also not a good idea. Say, listen to one segment of the show and not the rest of it.
Oh, they'd go back to the 2007 drunk episode or whatever that was.
Dude, I just want some free product. That's all I care about. I don't want their money. I just want their free product.
I'm going to go back to work now.
Are you? Really?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Dude, you look like you're going to pass out.
Oh, I'm just warming up.
Are you sure? Anyway, Denny, there's some crazy saying that I keep hearing at the end of this brilliant prop segment that I can't, will not roll off my tongue. Can you help me out with this?
It goes something along the lines of, it's pretty cool to go out and buy a prop, but it's a hell of a lot more fun to make one. So make something already.
I'm going now. Heaven help you.
Please like and follow the podcast. Stalk us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Links in the description. And help us by sharing Hauntcast with all your haunted Halloween brethren. Until next time, stay scary.